go off screen now. Go. Go. Welcome, everybody. We're back for another Wednesday. How are y'all doing? I was just having a little chit chat with Augustine before. I was feeling a little sick this morning, but I'm much better now. Hopefully, because y'all know it's the winter and what tends to happen in the winter. Sometimes we get sick, but it's kind of what we're going to be talking about today is shadow work with our guest Augustine. We want to welcome you to another edition of Healing is War, and on each episode, we delve into the darker side, the shadows of starting and exploring your healing journey. Today's episode is no different than any other. We have our shadow reflection guide, Augustine. He's also a motivational speaker. This conversation is about the shadows of trust. And those things may seem like they don't go together, but they really do. Let's open this up. I'll just ask you, Augustine, why does shadow work equate with trusting yourself? What is that connection built on?
Well, usually that builds on when you have to. be able to have confidence or have security and be able to know that what you think and what you're feeling equates to trust in yourself, which is usually attacked or what we worked on for the shadow.
Hmm. So, how do you work on that? How do you work on your trust with exploring your shadow? Or how did you do
Well,
it,
honestly, I
maybe?
would say it first starts with your emotions.
You said first look at your emotions.
Yes.
How do you, because we may have some listeners who are out of touch with their emotions. How how do they identify, examine these emotions? Is it through journaling? Is it through going to the beach? What is the process, or what process did you use maybe?
Honestly, it came with a lot of self-reflection, but there are many methods, like such as journaling, or you could do voice recordings just to hear yourself speak. Usually anything that would require or allow you to self-reflect on what was going on in the moment.
Hmm. What did you find out with those reflections?
I found out that I was a very insecure person. I didn't trust myself, honestly. And that was also because of the fact that I was never able to make a decision that was based on me. I was always making decisions based on other people and their decisions and thoughts.
Hmm. Cause I know that feeling. I I know that feeling, especially when it came to dating, I will say. I would just select somebody based on what I grew up with. I grew up in the church, and it was just, oh, pick this one because he looks like this, or he has this character, or all of these qualities. How did you, I just want to know, because for me, it was a lot of self reflection, and it was a lot of, well, why am I allowing them to tell me who to date or which career to pursue? Was it a difficult
Mhm.
process, or tell me?
I would say the catalyst was definitely an ex-relationship because I was overgiving to that person. I realized that I was giving them what I needed for myself. And that put me on the journey for self-reflection and healing better.
You know, it's kind of interesting because just this week I was teaching I'm teaching a heart alchemy course. And this week we were talking about
Mhm.
resilience and being in a relationship and losing that relationship. One of the things you said about the relationship you were in, you discovered you were giving so much. When you ended that relationship, did it feel like a loss, or did it feel like more of a win?
It was honestly a win because that was the first moment when I finally chose myself over others.
Hmm, it was a win. Like that is so I love the way you speak because you're just so matter of fact. Like it was a win. I knew. How did you become so sure of yourself?
Yeah, I had to put myself in uncomfortable positions, honestly.
Uncom- Why do you think so many people are they don't want to be in those uncomfortable positions? Because I know that was me before, hence the title of this podcast, Healing is War. I had to move away from home, 700
Mm.
miles. I had to deny what my family or church members or other people were telling me I should do with my life, who I should date, all of the, I dealt with the overgiving too, people pleasing, all the things. What was that discomfort like?
It was extremely painful. because I thought that my happiness in other people, not in myself.
Why do you feel we're so focused on other people? We trust them, their opinion more than we
I
trust
think
ourselves.
I think it goes back to our childhood and how we were raised in our environment or via by parents. Usually, we seek validation from the people that are supposed to love us, and when we don't get that, we seek for that in our adulthood.
Hmm. And in your relationship, the one where you found out you were overgiving, how did that mirror your upbringing, like your childhood? Because you mentioned it was your childhood. You had to reflect on that. You had to shine a light on that particular shadow. What were the synchronicities, or were there any?
Well, as happenstance, as you know, it is with unhealed relationships. My partner at the time was very similar to my mother, and I was always having to grasp my mother's love for conditional purposes. So, in essence, I used my partner to do the same thing, which was I should feel value or feel loved if I give this person everything I have, or even more, overgiving.
How did you know you were overgiving?
When I wasn't getting reciprocated energy or behavior, it was here to be more to stay in the relationship than to not to be in it.
Hmm. Was it easy for you to come to that realization, or was it a process of weeks, months, years?
Honestly, it was a process. It first started funny as it is. It started reverse, which was my partner noticed the flaws or the bad habits that my mother had, and that opened my eyes to how I deserve to be treated, which then I mirrored onto my partner and noticed that it was the same energy that my mother was giving me. So it took about a year for me to realize what I deserve for love or what I need.
Were you willing to wait even longer? Because, of course, it took a year, but were you willing, like, if the process actually took longer, were you willing to wait?
Absolutely. I think we make decisions when we are ready. So after that year of me being in a relationship of constant mirroring between my mother and my partner, it opened my eyes a lot to me like wow, like I'm not getting what I want in a relationship, whether that's through love or the trust in my partner or trust in myself that I know I need.
Yeah, because I asked that question about being willing to wait. I've been on this healing journey myself, like intentionally, since I can say 2006. How many years is that? 19 years. So
Yeah.
that's you're not even much older than that, but it's okay. Well, and I only
Yeah.
say this because it is a process. When we are doing that shadow work, and we can see, oh, my partner is similar to my mom, or this is happening. Why do I keep? I'm talking to myself here. Why do I keep attracting men like my dad? And my dad was a person who didn't keep his word. I was like, I need to figure this out. What is going on? I was willing and still willing to go the long haul with discovering these things. A lot of times when people hear shadow work, I feel they are saying, oh, it's one and done. I came up with this
Mhm.
thing. I know what I need to do. I did it last year. There's no more need to do shadow work. What's your opinion on that? How often, how long?
I think it's a non-stop process. You never stop healing and growing. There's so because if you think about it, you know, your childhood is up until 18 years old, let's say. So let's say you have 18 years of unhealed or bad behaviors and thought patterns. So you need probably more than 18 years to fix yourself. And even then, you still have a lot more to go through. To become a fully healed person is never ending.
Yeah. Plus, you mentioned something there. There's 18 years, so there may be 18 years of things to unpack.
Hmm.
Especially if you move like I did. I moved when I was 5, very little, from one grandparent's home to another grandparent's home after my grandfather died. There's lots of stuff to unpack with me. Shifting here, going here, my mom and dad split. It's like all of these things. What is it that prevents us from digging deep into all of those years? Because you said it best. There's 18 years. Just speaking about the childhood, why do we not want to shine a light on what happened to me when I was 1? What happened to me when I was 5? Maybe something happened in my high school years. What prevents us from going there, from being willing to do what you did?
Well, you have to sit in the uncomfortability of honestly, I don't want to say it, but the trauma or the hardship that you went through. It takes a lot of courage and strength for you to even attack or shed light to one aspect of a part of your childhood that was very hard for you to deal with. And a lot of people don't want to trust themselves because let's say they get the answer, all of a sudden they're like, well, no, that's not it. It must be something else.
Was
And you
there,
know, the
go ahead.
of course the body and mind, your subconscious, as I say before, wants to heal you more than you want to heal yourself consciously. So it's not that you don't trust yourself, it's that you doubt yourself. And it's important to, let's say, if the first thing that comes to mind is, oh, it's because of this, you should hold on to that thought or behavior and be like, what that is. It may not be the trigger or the root problem, but it definitely is a part of the reason why you are feeling this way or a part of why you had this experience.
Hmm. What I heard you say is sometimes we doubt the answer when it initially comes to us. Am I correct in saying
Yeah.
that? And then we
Yes.
don't want to believe it. We don't want to trust. It could be the deepest thing, or it could be the surface of this deeper issues. Why is it we doubt? Why is it we doubt when we know clearly our body, mind, spirit, everything said, hey Elmira, hey Augustine, this is it. Why are we doubting?
Well, again, because in our childhood, it's usually related to someone that we loved or someone that we trusted, and we don't want to put them in a bad light. No one wants to be the bad guy in the story. So we were like, oh, well, they're not that bad. They try to make excuses, or we try to make excuses for the reason why things were the way they were.
Yeah, we make excuses, and I know one of the things that happened with me, you can tell me if this is your story as well. It's you don't want to badmouth your mom, you don't want to badmouth your
Mhm.
dad and say, "Oh, they did this to me," and you're like, "Well, it was that way. It really was. They did abandon
Yeah.
me. They did make me." And I'm giving stories that I've heard in my work. My mom did make me walk 2 hours in the street by myself. You can't ignore that this traumatic things occurred. Because where does that ignorance
Right.
get us?
It keeps us in loops.
Yeah. I was actually talking to several people about that last week, being in loops. And what's your opinion? I'm going to ask your opinion. Do you feel we choose to be in the loop or we don't choose to be in the loop?
I strongly think we do choose to stay in the loop
Why so?
because not everyone wants to heal, not everyone wants to grow or, see the problems in their life and see them for what they really are. Some people would rather stay comfortable than be uncomfortable and be comfortable afterwards.
After what? Where they after what?
After dealing with the uncomfortable feelings and emotions and thoughts and the past.
Hmm. This is just giving me a whole lot of food for thought because a theme here, Augustine, that I hear when it comes to doing the shadow work and trusting ourselves is being uncomfortable. And I liken it to here in Georgia, it's winter. Right now it's 30 something degrees outside, and sometimes this week it's been, well, it's 40 something, but it's gotten colder than that. And it's uncomfortable. We don't want to be
Mhm.
cold, or we don't want to be too hot, or I don't want to sweat. I don't want to do this. I don't want to lose weight. I'm talking about myself when I started my weight loss journey in 2018 because my weight was emotional from a breakup. When I started it in 2018, it was uncomfortable. I didn't want to work with the personal trainer. I did, but then I didn't. And one of the
Mhm.
things I
Mhm.
can say based on this our discussion today, I trusted myself and I knew, okay, Elmira, I could see this vision of myself 30 pounds lighter, wearing this certain dress or going to this certain event. But I had to push through that uncomfortability. What is it in our society? And I can say this is all across the world because me and you both are here in the United States. But what has drawn us
Mhm.
to want to be comfortable? We always want to be comfortable. I got my TV, I got my internet, I got people who love me, who never question me. Why do we want to be comfortable?
No one wants to feel bad, right? That's my opinion. It's easier to be complacent or stay in one spot because it's all you know. It's something that you are comfortable with. And when something outside of, let's say, a new storm in California, that's winter, it's going to be very sudden and you're not going to know what to do. So I think the reason why is because there's not a lot of people that want to grow, in my opinion. And also that, like, no one really teaches you how to do it. For me personally, in the past year, when I was going heavily in the healing process, no one told me about shadow work. No one told me, hey, this is what's wrong with you. I had to do that work on my own and figure out afterward that that's what I was doing.
Hmm.
There's not enough roads to show us how to be better.
Yeah, it's almost like we come into this life or we select our parents and they don't give us all the roads. And we have to figure out those roads for ourselves. You said it. Last year on your personal journey, the discovery was there about this is what I'm doing. I'm doing shadow work. You didn't have a game plan. There was no map that said, Augustine, do it this way. Step one, step two, step three. It's going to look like this. But in the end, you created the map and now you're helping other people. What was the impetus to you saying, I did it for myself, now I want to help others?
Well, I think that I naturally that's always how I've been. I have naturally always been someone who was want to help other people either grow or become better, and it just translated to healing and shadow work.
Why that? Because you could have chose something easier. You could have picked sound bowls. You could have said, I'm gonna be a yoga instructor. I'm gonna do whatever. I'm gonna do AI, but you're like, I want to help with shadow work. That's going into the depths.
Yeah, it's something I'm really passionate about because as I grow, other people will grow.
Are you, with that growth, are you learning to trust yourself even more?
Absolutely, it's
And
important though to
I was saying, in what ways? I'm sure you're going to detail it.
in what ways?
Are you trusting yourself
Oh,
more?
well, more with my decisions and thoughts. And leading back to what the first question that you asked me was, how to trust yourself more. I would say it's to start with things that you are comfortable with. Like, let's say you're good at the piano. You're going to build your trust and confidence in yourself by enforcing that you are good at the piano. I would say that almost all the time, we decide to see the worst in us and say, okay, this is what I am, or label us to that degree. Like if I'm really bad at the violin, then I'm going to associate me being bad at the violin with not trusting myself or not having confidence and security.
Hmm. I actually did what you're speaking about, because it was building my trust was with the gym, with that personal trainer.
Mhm.
I built my trust in that area first. Then I began doing some mindset work, hired some coaches in that area. From there, took it to another level, expanded my massage therapy that I was assisting clients with and myself. And it was that initial thing of having to wake up early, making it to the gym at 6 a.m., knowing I had to be at a massage appointment by 9 a.m. So I had to change clothes, go to a whole nother side of the city. That was building the trust with something. You said build the trust with something you're already good with. I became good with the gym. Then I could become good with yoga. I
Mhm.
became good with doing my meditation, because I didn't start doing meditation at first before going to the gym. I was only working on my physical, and a lot of times that's where we begin. We start with the physical things because it's what
Right.
we can see. But as you and I are stating today, that's not what's pulling the shots. That's not what's really affecting our trust. It's the non physical things, it's the subconscious that's ruining our trust. But if we can start there with those physical things we are good at, you mentioned instruments, playing the instrument. Are you already good at that? Start there. Then you can expand and progress into those uncomfortable things. What would you say? I got a question because this just came to mind. It is the holiday season. People are celebrating all kinds of things, uh, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. What can people do, especially in this season, to begin the shadow work? Because a lot of people will say, oh, I'll just start when 2026 comes. I don't need to do anything in December. It's it's dark. It's I'm done. It's the end of the year. I'm not doing anything. I give
Yeah.
up.
I think interesting yourself in security, it comes with also discipline. I like to treat not every day, but every moment that I can think about it as if it's January 1st, because there is no greater time than to start now.
So you really do that? You treat every moment like it's January 1st?
Yeah, it helps me a lot.
Tell me how that worked out for you today. What did you do when you woke up today and treated today like it's January 1st?
Well, I already have a routine, a set discipline routine, but usually I just wake up in the morning and do my hygiene, clean up my room, of course. These small wins that help me be more confident in my throughout my day.
And how do those small wins make you feel?
Well, of course, on the surface, it doesn't make me feel anything, but subconsciously, it's it's telling my mind like, hey, okay, I can do this. Start one task, then you finish, then you feel motivated to do another.
I found that to be true when I started making my bed. Because when I lived in my other apartment years ago, I was not making that bed. And I think part of it, I know now because I did the shadow work, part of what was going on with me, it wasn't my bed. I was renting an apartment that was fully furnished and it was the owner's bed. I didn't pick the bed out. It was a futon bed. It wasn't really what I wanted. So I told myself, oh, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do these tasks. You don't have to do the routine. But that's the wrong
Mm-hmm.
way to think because I'll tell you, I'm remembering something back from when I worked the DoubleTree Hotel. That was not my dream job by any means. I was working in sales, office manager, and one of the things I did to create small wins there, I would dress up every day. I'm talking of course, we
Love
had to
that.
do business dress, but I went above and beyond. And I remember having these discussions with my cousin who worked with me because she would just come in a raggedy sweater. I said, why are you wearing that? She said, I hate this job. I'm not going to wear anything pretty here. I said, but this you're speaking about it too, those small wins. You do your routine, you clean your room, you do all these things. It makes the experience better, and then you can go to the next level because that's what I felt when I went in that hotel and I dressed in my nice attire and my heels. I was more confident. Plus, the response I got from coworkers, my boss, people who came to visit the hotel was that much better. And not too long after that, I was gone from that job. I started my business. But I'm saying this story, Augustine, because I trusted myself, and you do as well, by doing those practices that were uncomfortable. Nobody else was dressing like me.
Mm.
Nobody else was doing the fast I did. I did a lemonade fast for 7 days. Meanwhile, they're eating DoubleTree cookies and eating chicken tenders, and we got a restaurant and a chef on site. Elmira was struggling, but it was those moments, those wins. I can look back years later and say, I'm thankful. I gave myself that. I trusted myself that. I'm gonna ask you this because this is gonna be a forward reflection. Can you look ahead to yourself in 10 years and say, what would you thank yourself for that you started today?
Honestly, everything. When it comes to my new career or the way that I approach myself and my mindset and behaviors and pretty much everything else, because I always asked me that question, myself that question last year for about a entire year. Like, I think in one of my videos, I did reflect on that momentarily where I said, there is no tomorrow. Your future self is waiting on your present day to do what you do because it's important for you to be instilling what you want to do in the future to do right now because there is no future.
I know that to be true. What do you say to the people who don't grasp that particular concept? Because they may say, what do you mean there's no future? I know Christmas is coming. I know 2026 is coming. I know my child is about to grow up and go to kindergarten. Whatever they're saying is the future.
Mhm. An example I would probably use, let's say, is working out, exercising. You want a body that you envision in 10 years from now, but what is that person that is in 10 years from now doing? You should be doing those exact things today. I mean, you may not be going as hard or as rough or in the way that you think it would be, but of course, if you do what he was doing back in the future, right now, then you will have that in 10 years or however long it's going to be.
Hmm. There's something practical in that, and I'm going to unite it with one of the things you said before, Augustine, is treat every day like it's January 1st. When you do that, you can activate, you can live in the present instead of saying, I got my dream body tomorrow. No, I have my dream body today. I'm doing my
Hmm.
business today. I have a full load of clients today. I have love today. Not, oh, when I get this, when I get that, when I get that. And to me, it's an essential part of the trust is being in the present as
Hmm.
well. Because a lot of times, speaking of relationships, and I'm talking about relationships with other people here, I know a lot of people who say, I can't trust anyone. And it's mainly because they aren't being in the present. Their non ability to trust is based on something from their past. Have you found that to be true as well, or is it a combination of other things?
Absolutely. We're always reflecting on our past through our future and interactions and people that we meet. I like to say that that ourselves mirror our reality or environment, such as if, let's say, you're an unhealed person or you have trauma related to your father, because your subconscious wants to heal from that, you're going to constantly seek out people that are similar to your father or have similar traits, or in the way they treat you or in the way they are, until you finally get out of the loop.
I don't like the loop. That's why I took myself off. No, I am being
No, you're
so
right.
serious. I took myself,
Yeah.
and some of us, I know everyone out there listening, you understand getting off that loop. You have to, we said it earlier, you have to intentionally get off the loop. Do something different. Be something different. I can use my example of years ago at the job. I dressed differently. I was a
Hmm.
new version of myself. I didn't dress like my cousin or everybody else at the job. I started doing different things than the typical person in that position, and I activated it in that moment. Not, oh, I'll wait till I finish massage school to do this. No, I am it now.
Hmm.
To use your words, it's January 1st now. This is me now. Not, oh, I'm waiting. I want to wait until my parents say this, or this person decides they want to date me, or this client decides to say yes. No, I'm going to make this. To use your words, the name of your channel is Just Before Clarity. You're
Hmm.
saying that to me, that's a present statement about just before clarity. You don't need to wait till all the shadows are gone or all the trauma is worked out or all the people who wronged you, they've disappeared. You are doing this. What was the journey, because that is your YouTube channel. What was the journey of you deciding to create these video lessons for people?
I noticed that there was a gap between being unhealed and then seeing videos or content in which you are healed. There is no in between middle. And that's what I try to influence or help out with. Like I'm the middle person to the full actual hardcore healing. And I'm just reflecting so that, just before clarity, as in you just realize something before. you actually start dwelling into it.
I see that as like a bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're addressing those people in that bridge. They haven't quite figured it out, but they just woke up and it's like, what's happening? You're
right.
that person who's guiding them.
The problem is, well, it's not really a problem, but the way I see it as a problem is that when it comes to shadow work or shadow healing, people are so off put by it because it's such a big thing. It's like, well, if I heal one thing, I gotta heal everything, and they don't want to go through all of that. So I try to make tidbits of small things and moments in their life. So,
Yeah.
it's edible.
Oh, yeah, like appetizers.
Mm.
Because sometimes I'm not ready for that. Was actually me today, feeling a little sick. I didn't want a full meal. I ate grapefruit. I had some tea. I had a little mandarin orange, liquids. I needed those tidbits. I needed the appetizer. I wasn't clear. I didn't have the full clarity to
Mhm.
digest all of this big, long information, lecture, dissertation, book. You are offering that for many people, and I thank you for it because that's how I discovered you. I said, "Oh my goodness, this is so good." I just kept listening to the because it was speaking to me. All of the things you talked about, not just only trusting yourself, trusting other people, you are speaking of many things on the relationship with ourselves, and your videos are succinct. They're less than 15 minutes. You can digest them real easily. Well, as we close out, I do want to let everybody know because in these sessions, I give people soul work. It's like homework based on the conversation. Here are four things that I picked up, and I'll have you add anything you wish for the audience to know. The first one was examine your first 18 years of life. So that was one of the things you said, like peel that back. Number two, soul work. Build your trust with something you're already good at. It could be playing the piano. I do soccer. I'm already going to the gym. I go to work every day. That's number two. Number three, get uncomfortable with something. It could be a
Mm.
conversation with somebody. It could be like I did. I got a personal trainer. I was too comfortable trying to train myself. I had to get uncomfortable. Number 4, treat every day like it's January the 1st and do your routine. What, if anything, do you have to add?
Pertaining to the first one, I would say to add on to trust the first thought that you think of.
Anything else?
No, you wrapped it up really good.
Yeah, because those were the essential things. I treat these podcast episodes like going to class.
Mhm.
And you know, your teacher, the professor, is always giving you homework. I know I do as a teacher because I teach massage students now, and I say you got to have homework because next time we come back, you got to see, are we making progress? Are we doing better? Am I living in my identity that I said I wanted to do? How can people find you, Augustine?
I only have one social media platform, which is YouTube, and you can find me at Just Before Clarity.
Just before clarity and on YouTube, correct?
Hmm.
Also, what sessions are you currently offering to people?
Just whatever's on YouTube.
Okay, all right, that
Yeah.
sounds good. Anything else you want to tell people before we close today?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Simple, simple tidbits, everybody. This has been another episode of Healing is War. Remember, your soul is calling you to greatness. Be a soldier. You are ready for war. Until next time.